All right, Ode World. We are back with another pre-race interview for the Ode de Laz. And we're being joined by Jeremy Evans. Thank you, Jeremy, for showing up.
Thank you.
You are a very, very persistent member joining the Ode family. We've thrown everything at you to prevent you from racing, and you have managed to find your way through. So I'm so happy, honored really, because we've put so many hurdles in your way since last year. And we're very thankful that you tested out a new format for us the day, excuse me, the daytime before the Ode to the Night 12-hour. Why don't you tell everybody about that? How it was, what happened, what your experience was like, and you can describe the race format. So it's okay.
Yeah, no, it was. It just kind of just popped up there. I saw on Facebook. I just got done the following weekend attempting a 24-hour race. My goal in that race was to get 100 miles. I'm attracted to shiny belt buckles for some reason, so that's my nearsightedness. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out as planned. I made it 100K, and I came home a little disappointed, upset, and I saw that post pop up, and I'm like, oh wow, well, I need to get back on the horse because I just got to keep chucking away. That's perfect. I gotta run next weekend anyways. Why do it in my basement if I can go out and experience new trails and be a guinea pig for something that might become, a race in the future. So I was definitely all for it.
And you're nearby. When you say you did this race and come home, explain to everybody that was a local race for you, right? Somewhat. 100K.
I live in Marlette, Michigan, so everything's a little south of me, but yeah.
So Marlette, you're about, I would say, from the rec area where the Ode is. That's about an hour and 10 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, about a little bit more, I think, but yeah.
A little more? Okay. All right. So you ran 100K at Island Lake, and that's tough there. And then you come out on I think it's May 15th, the day of the Ode to the Night, and you didn't know anything about it. I had put an advertisement out that said, I want guinea pigs to do a half marathon or a marathon challenge. And you came out, you had all your gear and your chair, sat in the shade, you were ready, you said, all right, lay it on me. And you knew nothing about what was going to happen.
Yep. I was ready for anything.
Tell everybody what happened. What did you try to do?
Well, basically how you had it set up is that you did the Ode loop, which I've never ran before. And each loop, I would lose time off the clock. Exactly how much time, I don't remember exactly. I don't know if it was like 8 minutes a loop or what.
4.
Was it 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
And the final loop, I know the final loop I had to get it done in 40 minutes. I remember that in my head, which, I missed it by a little over a minute, I think, but that kicked me because I'm like, kept hearing everybody saying, well, he just did 3 40-minute loops in a row. And I'm like, oh, well, if I can do these 40-minute loops, what's the last 40-minute loop? Well, that course is a little underestimated, and it catches up to you really, really fast, like a good beer.
Speaking of that, you have a good beer with you right now. You have a Hop Slam, right? That's a good beer that'll catch up with you very fast. Go ahead and take a sip. I'll tell everybody the exact time. So what this race challenge was a 300-minute challenge, and we call it a marathon challenge, although 6 loops of the Ode courses only 25 miles, not a full marathon. But if you really want to do the dog years calculation, it's probably more like, I don't know, my guess is that would be more like a 30 to a 35-mile race from an effort point of view. And Jeremy went out on lap 1 and he got in, and I said, congratulations, you have to leave on your next lap in 60 minutes on the hour. So that lap 2, that just feels just like a regular backyard. And when he arrived on the next time to the pit, I said, well, get ready, you have to go out in 56 minutes. and Jeremy was told this before the loops, because we weren't going to let him inadvertently go too slow on a loop. And then the next is 52 and the next is 48. So the last 3 loops you have to run and rest in a 48, 44, and then the last loop is a 40. There's no rest time needed. You just have to get in under. And I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, Jeremy, but I think it was closer than over a minute. I think you missed it by only like 50 seconds or 48 seconds or something like that. And let me tell you, we had people there for the audience, so they know. We had several people there doing this challenge, and we had lots of people already there showing up for the ode tonight, hanging out, getting their tents ready, and it was heartbreaking. It was an amazing effort on your part, but that was the way we designed the race. We wanted it to be extremely difficult to make that challenge. So we appreciate you putting it all out there. And I mean, it was amazing. You did qualify and make all 6 loops, and you get credit for all 6. It's just the last one was about 50 seconds over the time limit. And you say, oh, I missed the time limit. 40.8 minutes. That's a ridiculously fast ode loop. I mean, really, really fast.
Yeah, that's going to come to discussion when we talk about my, how I'm getting ready for ode, or what my mindset is going to be for ode.
Well, let's talk about that right now. That's a great lead-in and a great question. What did that teach you, and how is your training different for the ode based on your normal ultras you may train for?
Well, that's what's going to be funny. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I think in my mind, my best, going back to like the Barclays and watching the videos of the Barclays, a lot of the participants that are successful there, they kind of take they run with runners that ran it before. So I think, since I'm not really great at pacing most times, I kind of like to run, and I don't have a governor, and I like to go out too fast. Even though I try to figure it out in my head, what I need to do and my pace and stuff, a lot of times that just disappears quickly. So I think my thing is trying to, for the ode race, my best bet is try to hook up, meet a couple runners that ran it before and that are pretty consistent, and just try to hold on with them if they don't mind, and just go as far as I can, knowing that I'm not gonna, push myself too hard and crash. Give myself the best opportunity to go as far as I can.
Right. So that's you feel your biggest, that was going to be one of the other questions, is what is your biggest demon? So your biggest demon is keeping the horses reined in. You just want to fly out there, and you enjoy the running so much. You enjoy trails. I could tell that during the excuse me, during the test. You were just, I mean, you could see it was difficult work, but you could see how much you were enjoying it.
Yeah.
If that's even possible. I mean, that seems kind of crazy when you think about the ridiculous nature of that challenge. It's very difficult, but you were enjoying every bit. I mean, it was awesome. So is it something where if you had those runners around you that they are maybe doing it the right way, whatever that is, because it's different for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that enough to keep you governed?
I think so. I'm pretty much in most cases, unfortunately, I don't, where I live, I don't have a big running community. I meet people along the way, but I'm not a very person that goes around and is very, talks to people and develops, running relationships with people in the running community. So I usually keep to myself, and if some people that I can connect with right away and I can run with them, and I'll feel 100% comfortable with it, and yeah, it would keep me governed through the whole thing. It's just
okay, that's cool.
That I have kind of keep to myself. But once I break that little barrier, yeah, I could, if I can keep up with them, or if we can work together, I would run with them all day long. Wouldn't have a problem.
Well, I mean, I would think most of the people that have done this several times now and are trying to go deep, like yourself. I mean, you have some clearly you have some large goals. They they do run slow. So when you say if you could keep up with them, they probably can't keep up with you. Let's put it that way. So it's a matter of you deciding that's the right thing to do. And I think that's a smart tactic, is trying to just hitch your wagon to someone that you know is capable of that kind of pacing. That's great. That's a great thing.
That's an idea. I mean, like usually when I go out and train for races, I will go to the race and run the course and train my strategy on the course a few times before the race even, happens. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll have enough time to go out there and really do it again at the Ode course.
Mhm.
So I have to just take advantage of maybe just making sure that I, am patient and understand the whole format and make sure I hook up with people and try that are pacing themselves well, that know, that have been there before and know more that how to do that.
So are you going to bring a canopy this time? A 10 by 10 pop up? You're going to borrow one of those if you don't have one?
Oh, I have one. I'm sure I do have a couple other friends of mine that are not, big ultra runners, but they just want to go out there and if it took them one lap or two laps, they just want to go out there and experience. So they're going to be there. So I might have a canopy. I'm planning on having one there.
And are they going to end up being a crew for you as well, or do you have separate dedicated crew?
I won't have a crew. I guess if they decide to enjoy the different beer that's going to be there and help out, if I'm still out there, that's more power to them. But I usually don't, or as of right now, there's nothing planned like that. It's just they're going there for their race, but we're going to be together, and whatever happens, happens.
Okay. And so you said they're just there to run a couple laps, but are they planning on, if you're trying to go deep in this, are they going to be there with you through the night and stuff?
Well, yeah. Well, I would assume if they think that I'm doing really well, they'll stick around. I don't know how far they're going to make it. Just they could go a long ways. I don't want to say anything can happen. I've seen some crazy things happen, but I don't think they're expecting to go the distance. But yeah, if they see that I'm doing well, I'm sure they'll probably stick around as long as
Well,
it's
that's
beer.
cool. Yeah. And that's what I'm surprised at. In year one, I did being an engineer geek, I took all the data I could find on backyard ultras, and I looked at how hard this course was, and I said, okay, well, this percentage of people drop out lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. By lap 3, we still hadn't had anyone drop out, and we're giving away free beer. I am absolutely dumbfounded that more people don't come and just run one lap to get the enjoyment, because we're all DNFers, right? I mean, I get the DNF, even though I don't run the race, I'm just as much of a DNF as everybody else but one person on the day, right? We're all DNFers, and we're enjoying this thing. It's so much fun to just observe. I'm really shocked that more people don't go experience a loop, maybe two, and then start having fun and eating the good food, drinking the beer or tailwind or whatever they want to drink. Not trying to push the beer on anybody, and it's there if you want it. If you want regular beverages, we got that too. So it is kind of shocking how far and how dedicated all the runners have been, and so that's really a cool thing. It's great to watch. But anyway, what do you fear most about the course now that you've run it?
I don't. I don't really. I mean, I guess I don't know about the road course. I heard some rumors about it. I heard it was worse than the trails, more elevation on the road course than the trails, and I'm like, I don't think that's correct, because I mean, I haven't ran it, but I don't. It doesn't bother me to run either on the road or the trails. The asphalt or the dirt really doesn't affect me. It's it's either I'm either gonna hold up and last or I'm not. So none of it really. The course itself doesn't necessarily concern me. It is a tough course. I mean, it is. It is a lot.
There are tougher ones, but it's not easy. The road course is what you drove in, I believe, from the main park entry guard shack. Once you went through there, you crossed over a bridge that went right between two lakes. Well, that bridge is the turnaround to the road course. So then that point on, from that bridge all the way back to the cabin area where you did all your running from, that's the road course. That's it. Just an out and back. It's the closed park road. Very nice because there'll only be traffic on it a little bit in the first loop or two, and a little bit of people showing up early in the morning when you're finishing your last road loop. So if you could run with any person in the world, dead or alive, they don't have to be a runner or not. Let's just assume they could run with you and you could enjoy a run, your favorite pastime with them. Who would that person be?
And I heard from a previous earlier interview. I can't remember the person's name exactly right at the top of my head right now, but and I agreed with him 100% when he said it. But it's my son. I run with my son, my youngest son. He's 10 years old. We've been doing races here and there, and it's really, actually, there's nothing better than when we're out running. And I look forward to me handing over the reins to him and him getting into crazy races, and I can sit there at the O drinking the beer and being his crew.
That's awesome. That's a great plan. You could make that happen. At the Ode to the Night in the morning, one of the runners, she had just finished running all the loops. She brought her young sons out and they ran the 5K. She ran it with them. And if I remember right, one was as young as 7, maybe. I think so. Anyway, we have some young ode runners now in the family. So, hey, started early. Let's go. Do you have any kind of special strategy for your foot care, for your sock change, shoe change? You don't have to discuss it if you feel it's proprietary and
actually, it's funny that you say this, because I had this discussion with a friend yesterday at Twilight. He has a lot of issues with his feet constantly for over the years, and I've never had any issues with my feet. I think one race, one time I had trail shoes on and it was a lot of downhill, and I started getting a little bit of a hot spot on my foot, and I think it's because I'm not used to running that steep downhill and my foot was gliding a little bit in my shoe. But that was it. I never had any blisters, never lost a toenail. I guess I'm just lucky. I've never really had any foot issues. So I mean, I really don't have to prepare any differently, for that, as I know of right now, because I haven't had that issue yet. Never had that come up.
Right. So if it's not raining, it's no big deal for you. If it's raining, it's just a matter of staying dry and keeping a lot of shoes and socks around.
My biggest thing I think is going to be is not going to be my feet. It's kind of like the issue I ran into yesterday is heat. The heat just absolutely killed me. And just trying to find a way to keep cool. So right now I'm going to start getting out of the basement where it's 60 degrees and air conditioner's running, and get out in that sunshine, because it doesn't take much for me to get out there and not being used to that heat. It takes a lot on me.
Yeah, quick. Right. You have to acclimate. Well, when you ran the course on your 6 loops, you were flying on the last 3, so you might not have noticed the scenery or the surroundings, but I hope you got to enjoy it a bit in the first couple laps. Did you develop a favorite part of the course that made you feel nice, uplifted, refreshed? It was just interesting to you? And likewise, did you develop one part of the course where you just didn't like it? Maybe it didn't fit your style, or it was always, something you dreaded?
The back half around the lake is my favorite, where it was really close to the lake and mostly all single track back there. That was by far my favorite, because it was really runnable. In my opinion, it was runnable. I could run it really well, and it was secluded and single track, and I like that. When I get into wider trails, or open trails. You know, for some reason that doesn't appeal to me as much. But when you get out in the deep of the woods, it's just a little teeny trail. You can't see ahead of you very far. I like that because you fly through there. It just feels like you're flying. You know, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Any part that you just went, oh, I wish this wasn't here. Oh, this section, I just got to get this done or get this behind me.
I like, you know, I can't say that because I really like all challenges. So you know, even though I think though I won't say I didn't like it, but the Stairway to Heaven was interesting because I seen pictures of it on Facebook before, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look so bad. And then the first couple loops out there, I kind of ran up it a little bit, like, yeah, you know, I can do this. And then the third time to the stairs, you're like, okay, this is going to be a tough hike up these stairs. And then you become not to like them. You know, more loops came by. I kind of liked it less and less, but it was cool because
Jeremy. So let me get this straight. You missed the marathon challenge by 50 seconds. And you ran the Stairway to Heaven at least twice.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I'll bet you wish you could have undone that bank withdrawal on lap 6.
That's for sure. That's where it goes back to the beginning of the interview. That's why I got it. Like I said, I don't have a very good governor. So I got to make sure I slow myself down and get that good rhythm in. And once I get that rhythm, I'll know. I mean, I can once I get into that, I'm good. But you know, if I don't have someone to set me straight, then I'm like a wild horse.
Fireworks. That's awesome. I mean, that is cool. For us fans watching the race, we love to see it. I mean, I don't know that I've ever actually watched someone run up the stairs. I certainly can't do it. It's not physically practical for me. So to run up those stairs is quite a feat. I mean, just to even say you've done it once, well, to have done it once and then did it the second time, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. We're going to have to check to see how much of that hop slam you had before the race this July. Because
back to that time management, like you said, if I was smarter and not in race mode, I'm sure I probably would have saved that 40, 50 seconds for sure.
Oh yeah. Because I had no idea that you ran the stair the first couple loops because you did I know the first was faster and you slowed down, I think a little for the second one and took advantage of a little more rest. And it seemed to me you were doing good clock management. And then that difficult decision comes in this new format. If you know, we're hoping to launch this race, but lap 4, you, with 48 minutes to go only, to get an 8-minute rest, you have to run a 40. And now you have to run a 40 to get 4 minutes rest. Then you have to follow it up with another 40. So it seemed you're managing very well, but then on the last 3 laps, it's not a matter of management. You have to do it. And that was pretty good. I had no idea you ran the stairs the first 2. Wow. I wish we had all known that. We would have been bowing to you.
Yeah, even running up to the yellow gate will catch up to you, you know, for sure. Just that the yellow gate, well, that adds up. It adds up quick.
So you think you won't run up the hill to the yellow gate in the race?
Oh no, there's no way. I mean, that is if I learned anything, I do not think that would be a good idea. I mean, there's definitely no reason to. I don't think. It's just still be able to get within your cutoff time. And yeah, you don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that.
That's awesome. Good. Well, you're already a veteran here. Let me ask you some lightning round questions because you are lightning fast. What's your favorite band?
Tool.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Chocolate.
Cousin Eddie or Clark Griswold?
Cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Chatty or not chatty during the race?
Well, like I said earlier, I usually don't, keep to myself mostly, but I try to be chatty. So I'd say 50-50.
Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids?
Sour Patch Kids.
Well done, medium or rare?
Medium.
Porta John or the Bushes?
bushes.
Favorite donut?
Custard.
Little Debbie or Mr. Kipling's?
Hello, Debbie.
All right. You have passed all the tests. You've answered all the questions. You've earned the right to ask me a question. I can't comment on who's going to win the race because I don't know. Wouldn't comment anyway. But any other questions you have for you? You don't have to have one, but it's only fair. I peppered you with all these questions.
Yeah, what's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer. I really, really enjoy. Now, this is going to be a shameless sponsor plug. So, if I'm at home, I love when I can get the beer festival beers imported from Munich. So Costco has them right around, I guess, August or so. They're making them, and it's nice because they brought in some Marzen this time. So I like those beers. Any of the beer festival beers from Munich would be high on my list. Then I really like the Mr. Hockey Red, which is from Parker's Hilltop, and we've featured that at our race, and it's going to be there again this year. That's going to be our keg beer at either Oak Flats or Overlook start area. But we also have a new sponsor this year, Pigeon Hill Brewing Company, and they have a salted caramel that I tested out at the May race where you were there, right? And I forget which you had that we were going to test too, but that I really, really enjoyed. So I would say I'm kind of a if it's not a German, say, beer fest style lager, it would be more more substantial beer. So I can't give you a favorite, but that gives you an answer of what I'm drinking recently.
That works.
Yeah, and I can't drink a lot of it. I mean, I guess in college we could all do that, but once we get older, you really pay the price for that. So I got to save up my shekels.
Absolutely.
What I do. So I'm going to have some at the race, and I'm sure I'll celebrate with you at the race with some of that as well.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Any more questions for me?
No, that's it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, this view here, this is right about where you were sitting under that tree for every one of your laps. You're going to see that again a lot in July, and we're excited to have you. And thank you again so much for testing out our new race format and proving that number one, it's feasible. Number two, it's a very difficult challenge that not everyone can achieve. So that's what we wanted. So I think it was a success, and we can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, can't wait to see you.
Thanks for spending your time with us, Jeremy.